Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be why this is the test of a lifetime. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So in all of the almost 5,000 videos I've created, one of my favorite locations, it's right here. Just found this a little while ago after rummaging and pillaging and searching through the Carolina woods, and wow, did I find a great spot of abundance. And you too will arrive here one day if you have not arrived yet. And that place is called the pinnacle of indifference, the mountaintop of indifference. And when you realize and recognize that you have been tested your whole life, but that you have passed the test, or you will pass the test, or you are working on passing the test, which means breaking the cycle, getting out of the vicinity and the proximity and the airspace of the narcissist, going no contact, blocking them, deleting them, and removing them and all flying monkeys and people associated with them. I usually say that later in a video. I'm saying it early to illustrate that when you do the steps that you need to take, when you take those steps that benefit you, and you stop thinking about that toxic person and that you owe them something, or you gave them your word, or you promised them, or you think you can change them, or you think that they actually care about you, or that they can change. When you really understand that this is your life, you should not be tethered with an invisible leash around your neck to a person who's abusing you. And that's exactly what the narcissist does. But again, this is the test of a lifetime. Now, back when I was in the narcissistic relationship, and truth be told, I was in multiple, but the apex predator, the narcissist of all narcissists, took me down for the count. But I'm here and I made it. When I was in that relationship, I didn't know what narcissism was. I had no idea. I was not educated on the topic, and many people back in those days that I was working with, including toxic workplace bosses, wink wink if you're watching, enjoy the video, or people that threw me under the bus and you never thought I would figure it out, but wink wink I did, and everybody else that was drinking the Kool-Aid of the toxicity in these places I was working at. And these are only the examples I'm sharing briefly. Well, when you don't know what you're up against, you don't know who you are and how strong you are, but you also don't know that you're being targeted. So I was no different. I didn't know what narcissism was. I didn't realize that I would be meeting multiple toxic people at the workplace, when I went home, when I was golfing and exploring other avenues and trying to socialize with people who were trying to learn about me and try to create smear campaigns and inflict as much damage to me as possible. Now you may say, well, you're being a little rough. No, I'm not. I lived it. And the further you get away from the toxicity, the clearer your mind gets. The clearer your mind gets, the more things will surface from the past that you never really got to fully process, because it all starts with one person. Whoever that person is you're considering, that's the narcissist that took you to my channel. That's the person that rocked your world and spun you upside down and took you on that roller coaster of emotions. And that's the person that changed the trajectory of your life. Now, you didn't know this back then, but now you either do know it or you're learning it. And when you're processing things and wrapping your head around what toxicity is and what narcissism is at its core, number one, it's so unimaginable that you can't fathom that another person would do what they did to you, but yet they did. And they didn't just do it to you, they did it to their own kids, their stepkids, their former romantic relationships, their business partners, their parents, their siblings, and anybody who would give them the time of day, because that's what these people do. They use, abuse, manipulate, and they want to live in people's minds rent-free. But you didn't know that back then, and now you do. And now you're realizing that you were tested throughout your life multiple times. I've shared this in some videos specifically over the last 2 years or so, but think about when you were a kid. Well, you went to whatever grade you were in, grade 1, 2, 3, grade 5, 6, but you had to pass tests to get to the next level. The thing is, with the tests that you had to pass, it was the same syllabus that perhaps generations above you or before you, they took the same tests, and it was the same teachers, and you knew what to do, and you knew how to study, and you knew it was pretty simple, although at the time it seemed quite daunting. Example, going from 5th grade to 6th grade, maybe it was a challenge for you. Maybe you were barely passing and you didn't want to go to summer school, so you had to study a little bit harder because you weren't applying yourself. Yes, guilty as charged with me, but specifically in the 9th grade. But anyway, I made it and here I am. Having said that, those are tests that you knew about. Another test, let's say you're going to become a lifeguard or a ski instructor. Well, you know you have to study and get in the best shape of your life and learn how to not just do a K-turn, but or snowplow. You're going to have to learn how to really ski down the slopes fast and help people. Same thing if you're going to become a lifeguard. You have to go out in the tide and swim. Well, why do you think I used that last example? Right. Because when you were in the cycle with the narcissist, you were in the deep end of destruction. You were in the cesspool of manipulation. You were in an ocean of abuse, but you didn't know what was going on. And this is why you were tested over and over and over again. So I will fast forward throughout the body of that relationship. You now know there were micro discards that ended most likely with the macro discard, the discard of all discards. You probably came home one day and there was no furniture in your house, or you looked at your bank account, it was cleaned out, or you walked into your house and you got a halfway written piece of mail saying, hey, I've moved on and good luck and I never loved you or cared about you. Or maybe you got a text. Who knows? Maybe the narcissist just slithered off. They never even said a word to you and they left that door wide open so they could try to come back and kick it open at a later date. However the ending of your relationship ended, that's how it ended, and that's when it was supposed to end. Now again, that's a tough pill to swallow. You may not realize what I'm sharing with you, that each and every one of these narcissistic relationships has an expiration date. If you don't know it, you will figure it out eventually because they're not sustainable. In the narcissistic relationship, you have two people. One person, the toxic person, taking from the other person, who is the empath or the kind, loving, stable, healthy person who is committed in the relationship and to the relationship. And the other person, the toxic person, is committed to nobody, but they're trying to string that other person along to take whatever they can from them. That's why these relationships are in cycles. There is the love bomb / euphoric stage, which is usually the smallest part. And that's when you think everything's puppies and rainbows and unicorns and butterflies and snickerdoodles and Twinkies. Then once the narcissist knows they have their dirty fangs sunken into you, enter devaluation stage. That is the body of the relationship. That's the longest part usually. And that's when you're trying to get back to this love bomb, but you can't because it's not sustainable and the narcissist isn't wearing the mask as much or as often as they did in the beginning because they don't need to, because now you are in a trauma bond, or now you are in the narcissistic fog, or now you have married them or had children with them or relocated. Now it's essentially too late in the eyes of the narcissist. Then after those two periods or parts of the narcissistic abusive cycle, then comes the ending. Now usually the ending comes with a discard, but not always. Many times, or at times I should say, other people are strong enough they end it themselves. They finally get the wisdom and they go no contact and block that person, or maybe it's their spouse, they have to divorce the narcissist. But anyway you cut it, that relationship ended. That's the third part. The fourth part, at times, not always, so do not be holding out for this because it will not serve you, but at times there are things called a Hoover. What is a Hoover? So love bomb / euphoric, devaluation, ending, boom, put an exclamation point on there. And then there's a little slice, a tiny little fraction that possibly could happen, which is a Hoover. Now a Hoover is when the narcissist is trying to suck you back in to communicate with them, like a Hoover vacuum, if you will. And whoever created that, it's pretty appropriate. I'm sure there's a better term for it, but that's what it's called. So the Hoover is meant to steal your energy, steal your time, and have you blaming yourself or wondering. It does not mean that the narcissist wants to get back in a relationship with you, although it may. Many people have never, ever received a Hoover. That's a good thing. Other people have received a Hoover. Then there are different people who have received Hoover after Hoover after Hoover after Hoover. Now you may say, well, wait a minute, I'm the person that never received the Hoover. Why not? Didn't the narcissist ever care about me? Well, you should thank your lucky stars that they haven't, because they're probably either not on the planet any longer or they have a different source of supply and you're off the radar. That's why you need to maintain no contact and not be secretly hoping for a Hoover. It's not going to benefit you. It's only going to spin your world backwards in time. The second part is maybe somebody received one Hoover and then they understand, because I'm sure you're here in the community getting your cup full and maintaining your boundaries, that Hoover did not serve you. It wasn't what you thought it was. It was actually worse than you thought, because the narcissist was worse. They got older. They blamed you for the ending of the relationship. They blamed you for not doing anything. They threw verbal abuse at you. They blamed your siblings, your failures in life, or your accomplishments, or your achievements, or lack thereof. They did whatever they could do to keep you stuck and to punish you for accepting a Hoover. Then the third person, maybe you've accepted multiple Hoovers. Maybe you're still trying to break the cycle. I get it. Well, if that's you, you know that these Hoovers, all they do is keep you stuck in quicksand. It's very difficult or challenging to make advancements, although it can be done. But if you are still in communication with the narcissist and you know they are a narcissist and you're accepting a Hoover, which means communicate with them, that's all I'm referring to, well, it's going to take longer for you to heal. Eventually, my hope is you go no contact and you block that person. But having said all these things, any way you cut it, this is the test of a lifetime. This is the test of your lifetime. Now, nobody can do this for you. No one's going to knock on your door and say, hey, I'm here to save you. And hey, I'm here to put you back together. And hey, I'm here to teach you everything and educate you, and you can cry on my shoulder. And they could do that. They're not going to. They could do that, but number one, they'll get burned out. Number two, they don't know what you went through. Number three, that person could be toxic themselves. I'm not saying they are, but they could be. But anyway you slice this one, this is a journey for one, by one, and to benefit one. And that's why most people on this planet who haven't gone through the cycle will never be able to understand or wrap their head around the experiences you had in that narcissistic relationship, because they didn't go through it. That's why most average, everyday people will say things like this. Oh, it's been 2 years, get over it. Just get underneath somebody to get over them. Or what's the big deal? Get on that dating app. Or you're still thinking about them. Or talk to me when you're not even bringing up their name anymore. Or I can't believe you're still hung up on them. Or why haven't you moved forward? Or you're still watching those videos. What are you doing? Well, these people either A, are toxic themselves, or B, they flat out don't get it. However you cut it, that's their path, not yours. So don't give them attention or energy if they're not serving you. But now you understand this is the test of your lifetime. You didn't think you would ever be in this situation. You didn't think that you'd ever have to go through what you went through. I certainly didn't either. This has changed me and my purpose and my path and my perspective on so many things. I couldn't imagine this 5-6 years ago. It would have blown my mind. But guess what? It did blow my mind. But I put myself together. I dusted myself off by the bootstraps. I rose through the ashes like a phoenix, and I healed and healed properly. And did I have sleepless nights? You bet. Did I have times when I overate? Absolutely. Did I have times when I didn't eat at all? Yes. Were there days when I couldn't even turn a light switch on upstairs in my house? Yes, I've mentioned that many times in videos. I would at times wake up in the morning rolling over and say to myself, oh my gosh, again? This is like Groundhog Day. It doesn't ever end. And again, every single tear I shed, every time I journaled, every time I meditated, every time I watched videos for a short period of time before I created them, and every time I dug deep within myself and healed childhood wounds and focused on myself and felt the journey, felt the pain until it dissipated, wrapped my head around the fact that these people, specifically the apex predator, the narcissist, didn't care about me, and they don't care about you. You may think otherwise. No, they told me they love me, and they continue to ask me how I'm doing, and they continue to do. Well, think about this. When you are done communicating with that toxic person, do you feel light and full of positivity and energy? You probably don't. You probably feel zapped or drained, or you probably need to take a 2 or 3 hour nap because your energy has just been stolen. Think about this. There are two kinds of people on the planet. There is the beautiful, bright, shining light, and then there's the dark energy source. It's that simple. Yeah, you could say there are people in between, in the middle. Yeah, actually that is true. But the people in the middle usually don't get targeted. It's usually the people with the highest level of empathy, the people that are trusting, the people that don't have boundaries, the people that are vulnerable, the people that are believing, and the people that don't understand that narcissism exists. And we were, past tense, were ripe for the picking when the narcissists laid their grubby little fingers on us and they saw who we were and what we could do and how we could elevate their lives for a period of time. And once they took whatever they wanted, what did they do? That's right, they crumbled people up, and I was no different, like a sheet of paper, threw them away in the freeway and said, good luck. I hope you make it, wink, wink, meaning I hope you don't make it, and you'll do all the dirty work for me because I now have the smear campaign well underway. I will isolate you. You've been abandoned. I've taken all your money, your hopes, dreams, aspirations, your health, your relationships, your job, your time, your essence, and more. But guess what happened? That's right, a funny thing happened along the way. I cracked the code. I figured it out against all odds, and you have too. What I did very early on after the discard is I put myself back together. Now, was it easy? No. Was it like going through a pitch black tunnel and not being able to see the light at the end of the tunnel in the beginning? Absolutely. Did I experience the dark night of the soul? Yes, I did. And you probably don't even know what that is. My hope is you don't know what it is and that you've never experienced it. If you're unsure if you've experienced it or you want to learn about it, type in the browser, Narcdaily, Dark Night of the Soul. You will see one of the most spectacular videos I ever created at about 10 o'clock at night when I couldn't sleep, when I had gone through so much toxicity and I was learning about myself, about narcissism, about empathy, and about humanity. check that video out, The Dark Night of the Soul, Narcdaily. That was created almost 4 years ago, I believe, 3.5 years ago. But having said these things, I didn't quit. I didn't stop. You see, I had something that the narcissist didn't realize I had. I had integrity. I had resilience. I had commitment. I had strength. I had courage. I had fortitude. And if I didn't say it, I had purpose. All these things encompassed me putting myself back together, minute by minute, sometimes second by second, day by day. And eventually I cracked the code and I figured it out, and I practiced radical acceptance. And I said, yeah, that wasn't what I thought it was. It was what they wanted me to think it was. My purpose was served as far as they were concerned. They already had a new source of supply, and I did figure out who they were. Wink, wink. Nice job. I hope you're enjoying your life. And they took what they could from me and then abandoned me and discarded. And that's what happens with people. And when you are at your lowest point, that's usually when you're abandoned or discarded, or when things change, meaning you had a death in the family, you came down with an illness, you lost your job, or you had some financial problems or health problems or something. This is why the narcissist is calculated. This is why they know what they're doing. This is why they will never change. And this is why, because you met that person, the behemoth, the juggernaut, and they tried to take you down for the count, but they failed. And yes, they failed miserably. Because of all that, that's why you now understand this is a test, or the test of your lifetime. Not of other people's lifetimes, of yours. So again, let's just go back to average human experiences. Let's say that you wanted to become a doctor, or you want to become a certain profession, and you had to go through a certain amount of schooling or an academy or something to achieve that. And when you graduated, then you were given the doctor's white jacket, or you became a police officer or a firefighter, whatever it was. I don't know what it was, but whatever it was. Well, you did it, but other people had done it before you, so the path was paved. All you had to do was buckle down and study and learn and figure out how other people did it, and you got to wherever you wanted to be. Healing path, the test of your lifetime, is completely different. This is a test for one, by one, and to benefit one, and nobody will know what you went through, because this is a solitary journey. The reason I created my channel, March 31st, 2021, called Narcdaily, You Are Not Alone, it's because when you're in these relationships, you feel completely alone. When you're discarded, you feel even more alone. When you don't know what narcissism is, you're alone again. The truth of the matter is, you're never alone. You're always connected with the energy above. You're always connected to source. You're always connected to your roots. And these are the things the narcissists try to take from you. And again, they really thought they knocked you down for the count. They thought they extinguished you in your beautiful, bright, shining light, but they didn't. That's why you're here. And that's why you're resilient. And that's why you now understand this is the test of a lifetime, but it's the test of your lifetime. And you must pass. I passed with flying colors against all odds. I passed with flying colors despite the fact it was the most challenging, gut-wrenching, heart-tearing open experience of my entire life. Not just the relationship or the discard or the dark night of the soul or January 6, 2021 when I almost ended it, but every bit of the puzzle that I had to put together. I had to really dig within myself, and nobody, and I mean nobody, could do it for me, and no one was going to do it for me. And one of the best things I ever did in my entire life was dig in deep within myself to figure out exactly who I am, what I'm made of, because I was tested to my core. And again, before I close the video, that's why this is the test of your lifetime. It's a test you will pass as long as you stay on the path. You continue to go through that dark tunnel. You continue to see the light at the end of the tunnel that gets brighter each and every day, although it may not feel like it is, but it is, and it will. And then eventually you get through it, and then you arrive at a place like this. Now this, you may say, well, that's not the mountaintop or the pinnacle of indifference, Andrew. Think again, it is. There's nothing but lush greenery behind me. There's nothing but beautiful trees that were living long before I was around, or you were, laying on the ground waiting for me to come here and create a video. There's nothing but leaves falling. There's nothing but abundance, harmony, peace, togetherness, growth, Mother Nature, clean energy, clean oxygen. See, this is where you will be once you heal and heal properly. All of the experiences of the past get processed. All the journaling will pay off. All the financial abuse will be reclaimed by you, meaning you will rebuild your finances. This is when you can take a class, teach a class, read a book, write a book. You can travel the world. You can fall in love again. You can sleep until 12 noon, or you can stay up till 3 a.m. You can do whatever you want to, because you've done something that most people, A, will never have to do, B, will never do, and C, they won't be able to wrap their head around how you have done it and how you've changed. This is why you must continue to focus on yourself. And this is why you must pass the test. This is the test of not only a lifetime, of your lifetime. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it. I mean, loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning. No matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. I love you all. God bless you. And I will talk to you tomorrow. And I just remember a couple years ago, I wasn't in this spot. I was somewhere near here. And all these beautiful golden leaves fell on the ground. And what an amazing environment. So I'm a little early this year, but I found another good spot. And I will take advantage of this whenever I can to create more videos. So understand something. If where you are is where you want to be, good work. If where you are is not where you want to be, that means there's work to be done. Eventually, you will have to cut the ties. The emotional tie, the financial tie, the physical tie, and the spiritual tie from the narcissist in that narcissistic relationship. And as you cut those, you get stronger. As you get stronger, they get weaker. As they get weaker, you get closer and closer to the abundance. This is real. It's not AI. It's not a script. It's not a guy saying, wow, I saw this in a video. Everyone else, no, this is me. It's my life. I've been doing this for 5 years. I can help you to get to where you need to be, but you need to want to do it. You need to do your part, and you need to be authentic and honest with yourself. The narcissist doesn't love you. They don't care about you. They never have, and they never will. Understand that message. I love you all. God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Before I close this, I will say this. This is the test of your lifetime. You need to take it very seriously. Very, very seriously. Get off the radar of these people. Go no contact. If not now, when? I love y'all. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.